because there are truths in building a business that are not fun. And it's not always going to be fun, but you need to have a habit of making sure you do what's fun. And I think there's quite a few lessons that I've learned in the past 3 years since starting my business, especially starting my business as a young mom and a new wife. So we are recording. And it's been a while since I've done a solo episode because I kind of took a break. And that fits perfectly with our topic today, which is going to talk about how you can incorporate enjoyment into your life while building your business. And I think this is a topic that's going to resonate with a lot of people, especially my mompreneurs or parentpreneurs who feel like they have to juggle and manage it all. Everything kind of seems weighing on them, or everything seems to be a rush. Time seems to be limited. You always feel like you have to be hustling and you don't enjoy your life or you don't enjoy your business. And this goes along really well with my series if you've been following along on Instagram or TikTok. I'm doing a 30-day well, it's not a mini series, it's just short form video on thriving over surviving. So taking your life back out of survival mode and how I've put myself into what I like to call thriver mode. Being someone who went from a domestic violence situation, a single mom slash like what felt like rock bottom, to the life that I now have, which is everything that I could have wanted and more, which I never really felt possible. So I've been sharing life lessons that I've learned, business lessons I've learned, because my business really helped me build this life and has given me the ability to do that. And I didn't always enjoy my business. There's still days I don't enjoy my business, to be completely honest, because of course this is behind the scenes. So we are honest in this series. My guests are honest in the series, because there are truths in building a business that are not fun. And it's not always going to be fun, but you need to have a habit of making sure you do what's fun. And I think there's quite a few lessons that I've learned in the past 3 years since starting my business, especially starting my business as a young mom and a new wife. So I think there's some lessons here today that we can talk about that will help you, because I support and work with a lot of entrepreneurs, all from startups to seven-figure entrepreneurs, who I've seen a lot of similarities in, where they feel like they have to be in hustle mode. And I've been in hustle mode. And sometimes it is hard to get out of hustle mode, especially when you think, oh, if I just hit X. So point one and point two for this are going to be pretty combined. So you say, oh, when I hit $10,000 a month, or I hit whatever the first revenue point is, it'll be enough, or that's when I'll be able to take a break, or, whatever you're saying to yourself of, oh, I'll be out of hustle mode here. Now, definitely understand ebbs and flows in seasons, in busy periods, especially if you're somebody in a business that does have that, and you can prepare for that financially once you've been in business for so many years. My good friend Kristen, she talks about that in her um, financial planning and budgeting, is how to plan for those ebbs and flows. Like, my husband owns a construction business, obviously ModCon, and they have busy seasons and slow seasons because of the nature of their business. I know that in the past 2 years, I have a busier Q4 and Q1 based on the data, based on my revenue, and based on my clientele, because in the summer I slow down because my clients slow down due to their kids being home, is something I learned this past year from the data and just talking to a lot of people. So you could definitely prepare for those, and there's definitely going to be times for that. But if you keep saying, oh, I'm just going to wait till X milestone and then it'll get better, or I'll fix it, whatever, that is just not gonna happen because I've said that to myself. I've had mentors who've told me that they've said that to themselves, and they said, "So, don't keep waiting to get to X milestone," and is the first real thing about incorporating joy and enjoying your life into this is, because habits that you build during the journey are gonna be how you enjoy that success. I had a mentor, who's also a guest on my other YouTube series. Her name is Alex. She shared that with me when we worked together when I first started my business. And at first, I didn't know really what that meant until I was in the thick of it. And I realized, if I build this business grinding out, I'm gonna build a lifestyle of grinding it out. So you feel obligated and your brain says, if you're not gonna work hard enough, you're gonna fail because I've definitely had that fear and that doubt come into my mind tons of times. But I've always remembered that when I take care of myself and when I slow down, things work out better. And these habits that I'm building now are going to be what the habits that carry me through to my success. And so being able to set time aside and hold my boundaries, um, like taking Fridays off for myself and for my kids, because that's the business I want to have. Uh, Definitely wasn't easy to get there. Um, and you don't get time back. So that's something to remember when you're building your business. You want to hustle it out, and priorities are going to be looking different for everybody. But to me, I can't get this time back with my little ones. I mean, if you followed me for a while, we have a 4-year-old who will be starting kindergarten soon, um, and we'll just turn 1 year old. So like, I'm never going to get these years back before they go to school. Like, and it's not easy to do all of it. And people tell me all the time, they're like, "You're in the hardest part of your life because your kids are young and you're trying to build this business." Some people think it's really crazy, but I've been able to build this business so I can see them and then get to enjoy these milestones with them. And some days are trickier than others. Some days I definitely don't have all the patience that I would like, but um, the days that I get to hang out with Lila and enjoy this time with her, it always um, one, it makes me happy, and two, it makes me sad because I didn't get this time with Charlotte because she was in full-time daycare, for the first year of her life because I was working corporate, and those are days I'm never gonna get back. So if you have small kids or if you have life events that you are missing because you're building your business, it's not you're not gonna get those times back, and you're not gonna get those family memories back. You're not gonna get any of that back. So it really is something to think about as you're building your business is what time am I sacrificing because that's your greatest asset. And so something I talk to a lot of my clients is the way you get time back is delegating and setting up systems. So one thing I've seen of really a lot in common with my clients is sometimes they wait too long to delegate because their ego gets in the way, or they tell themselves that they can build it out and DIY it, and it takes longer and it's more of a headache, because they say they don't want to pay someone else to do it. But in the reality, you're going back to the time thing, you're losing time and you're telling yourself, you know, that this is more important. So, or that you're telling yourself like, I can do this, but it's really taking longer. So I always like to use the example, like in my business, if it stays on my to-do list for longer than a couple of weeks, I say, is this really that important, or should I be hiring it out? Like, can I delegate this, or do I not need to do it at all? Like, I weigh the pros and the cons. And next week, I'm going into a deeper dive into money and time leaks. So, one of the exercises I go through with clients in an ops improvement session is if we're looking at schedules and we're looking at delegating versus automating, um, what are the pros and cons and the expenses? Like, is this worth me delegating and hiring out for, or is this something that actually really is more cost effective to go to someone else, or does it actually not even need to be on my plate at all? Like, is it really that important? So I always evaluate it, especially if it's sitting on my to-do list for too long. And don't let your ego get in the way because I've seen that happen with a lot of CEOs and entrepreneurs that they think they can do it or they have to do it or they have this ego where no one can do it as good as them. If that's the case, I suggest you read Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz. That book will change your perspective and it definitely will challenge the way you are building your business. Um, and the last thing I would say I've learned in my business is, and in a lot of the businesses I've helped and worked with, you don't need to rush. Going back to the time thing, you don't have to rush your success. It'll happen when it's meant to happen. Um, and your journey, and sorry, I'm like shaking the table here. So my video just moved. Your journey and lessons learned and your mistakes are gonna be the most important part, and that's gonna be the fun. Don't rush those goals that you set on yourself because I know I've done it, friends of mine have done it. We always put our harder on ourselves than we are with other people, but you're setting those timelines and you're setting those deadlines. Um, you kind of have control. That's the point of being your own boss, and you don't have to rush that success just because maybe someone else is. I know I'm guilty of doing that where I'm like, I have to make $10,000 a month. Okay, why do I have to make $10,000 a month? Am I not going to be able to pay my bills if I make $10,000 a month? Or is it because, that's this number put on by society that's successful? Like, as long as I'm paying for everything and enjoying my business, that's what I define as success. So, you know, I may not hit my goal every month, but as to me, a bigger success is keeping my boundaries and working with clients that make me happy and I get to enjoy their success. Those are really what I see as success. So setting a list of what you define as success, not what others define as success is a good place to start because you'll get sucked into all of the comparison and the mindset issues, and then you're not going to be building a business you enjoy. You're going to be building something that just drains you like a 9 to 5. So, those are just some ways that you can build your business while enjoying your life. And it all starts with you and your vision and your mindset. And then there's ways that I help my clients incorporate systems and processes and SOPs to help with that delegation and getting their time back and building a life. Well, really building a business that doesn't need them to operate. That's truly what it comes down to is being a CEO that's not a bottleneck. You should always be thinking like, how can I replace myself? And if you don't think you can replace yourself, then there's wherein lies your problem. And I know I've caught myself thinking that a lot. And in every business, you can and could be replaced, which is um, really the sign of a healthy, scalable business that also can be sold. So that could be one of your exit strategies. A lot of my clients say, I want to sell my business, or they flip businesses. So, how sellable is your business is a good question to ask. But those are a couple of my tips and lessons learned. Hope you follow and subscribe to see more behind the scenes episodes, along with next week's recording of money and time leaks. So thanks for tuning in.